and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 340 for the week of January 16th, 2018. Sorry for missing last week. There was no podcast last week. I apologize. There was no podcast last week.
Keep thinking that. Only the most downloaded podcast of all time.
We decided
in Comic Conspiracy
to come back to the store and leave the cave that Bryce and Toby recorded their 0.5 at last week. It sounded like an echo chamber. What was going on? I mean, it sounds like more than an echo chamber than normal with Bryce.
If anything
what was going on in there?
Your EQ was on, probably.
No, it's fine.
The FX one.
No? Nothing's
Toby
different.
likes using an effects board.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an effects thing here, but it's off.
Well, maybe we were in a lot cooler place than here. We were actually at the Bat Cave.
You were in a cave. Anyway, we're
I don't
back.
think it was the Bat Cave.
My name is Ryan Higgins.
You can think whatever you want.
Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Scott.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Yeah, Toby's a lot sadder when he has to say his own name, apparently. So before we get into all my numbers and charts and graphs and charts and numbers, Toby
Which
had...
we have no visuals for them for.
Yeah, that's fine. Toby had something to talk about for a minute.
Yeah!
You want to continue your movie conspiracy because you've added some stuff to it.
Well, I spent most of my Christmas time in the hospital, so I'm finally catching up on movies. So, first of all, I want to mention Bright.
Is this not comic book related stuff?
This is all in the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Okay?
So
These are all
movies.
extra honorable mention movies to add on to my honorable mentions that I didn't get to add on.
Okay.
All the movies I wanted to watch that I didn't get to watch. So I want to mention Bright, which is nerd related.
Yeah.
You say you don't like it because you haven't seen it yet, and you made up your mind before watching it.
I know nothing about it.
You know your friends that you trust are not named Toby that didn't like it.
I know nothing about it. It got pretty poor reviews.
And you care about Rotten Tomatoes since Bryce came into your life.
6.5 out of 10.
What's that on?
That is on IMDb.
I mean, IMDb's a weird rating. I'm just saying. I not hear a good thing about it. So
87% of the fans,
liked it.
the audience score liked it.
Yeah, okay.
That's more than
87%'s
Justice League.
not awful.
Just to let you know, since you care about those kind of things so much.
Just saying.
Wait,
Only 27%
of the fans
critics.
or the critics?
27% of the critics.
Well, no, on the
87%.
Justice League, because Justice League was pretty high in terms of the
Yeah,
fan.
I thought so too, actually.
Was it on the fans?
It was like 80 or something, 85, yeah.
Well, anyways, I actually really enjoy Bright.
That's cool. I don't know anything about it.
I actually do not like the writer. I'm not a fan of his, and that's why I was like going into kind of like, it's directed by the Suicide Squad guy. So it's kind of going, but I actually really enjoyed it. I'm actually really hoping for a sequel because I want to see more of this world.
They did greenlight a sequel at one point.
Nice. Because I want to see more of this world. It's basically unapologetic fairies and mythical creatures and orcs. Yeah, they're all in current day time. They're they're lived together.
It takes all the sort of social things and goes, okay, the discriminated gangs are all orcs, and one of the main characters, the only orc on the police force, and
the elves are the highly elite people.
Yeah. What do you give it? Like out of 7 Charlies?
Oh, out of 7 Charlies.
Yeah.
Probably a 5. Like
5 out of 7 Charlies.
I wasn't in love with it, but it's definitely something where I'm like, I would totally watch a sequel because I enjoyed the one sort of watch through.
Because I feel like it's a good setup for a nice little world.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's one. I watched Jumanji, which I thought anybody that loves video games today, that's the age of mine, should totally watch it and will totally enjoy it.
It looks really fun.
It's really, really well done. Especially as you,
week at number 1.
as a Captain N fan, I say you should totally go watch this movie because you see a lot of similarities in it. Really well done. Jack Black totally steals the show in that one. At the end of the movie, there's a revelation of the whole time in the movie, I'm like these kids. And then at the end of the movie, there's a little gun. No, motherfucker, you're like that old motherfucker right there. So, anyways, not to give anything away. Just watch it. Really good. And then I finally watched The Greatest Showman. And it's so good.
Toby, you know who liked The Greatest Showman that I know?
This guy.
My mom loved it.
I do. I think my mom will love it too. Yeah, dude, it's so good. I really, really, really like it.
Who is that?
Hugh
That's not Buzz
Jackman.
Luhrmann, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, Buzz Luhrmann was the other one.
Hugh Jackman is the main man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Valerian?
Dancing and singing.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I actually really like the music. It's not overdone. A lot of musicals, the songs kind of go on too long, kind of stretch the story too much.
Yeah,
this one kind of felt more like a Disney movie where the scenes when they're talking, the songs, they're really well balanced. The songs are really awesome. And a nice little Supergirl, not cameo, but connections in there for you,
really?
Mr. Ryan Higgins.
Well, not in the movie.
Not in the movie directly.
So this movie took a very, very long time to get made, like 7.5 years, I think they were saying.
Yeah.
And the way they finally got it greenlit is they did a full-on like read-through with the cast and stuff in front of like the Fox executives.
Okay.
Right after Hugh Jackman had surgery on his nose and couldn't sing.
Okay.
So they brought in Wynn from Supergirl.
Jeremy Jordan.
Yeah. To actually
do
his like singing parts.
Oh, okay.
But like in true Wolverine fashion, he doesn't listen and he sang the parts anyways.
Well, on the very last song, he sang the part anyways and then had to go get some stitches redone. But
yeah.
Okay.
Wolverine, real life. Anyways, I really highly recommend The Greatest Showman. I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
I will have more updates coming soon as I'm still catching up on more movies.
Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Yeah. That's added to my movie list.
Actually, one of the other things about The Greatest Showman I really, really like is opening weekend it was considered a flop.
Yeah.
Because it did horrible in the opening weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it did very
It
well.
still did more money this past weekend than it did in its opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
That's surprising.
It totally
Steam.
bounced back.
Did it go up against Star Wars or something? Or
It came out the week before.
the week before?
No, it came out Christmas.
Was it Christmas?
The
Yeah.
week after?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out Christmas. It just got murdered at the box office that first opening weekend, and then has just done phenomenally better since.
Yeah, that's surprising. It doesn't happen
Especially
too
because
often.
it got hammered by the critics and stuff right before it
Yeah,
came out.
I don't think it was.
It's all the shit you
reviewed
care
very
about,
well.
Ryan Higgins
We have,
and
an,
Bryce.
we have an update on your Justice League Rotten Tomato scores.
Do we? Well, Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, that was a long time ago.
Remember, it was, what is it, Bright?
Uh-huh.
I said 87%. Justice League, 77%.
On IMDb.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
For
it went
the
down that
fan?
much?
Yeah. For the
Fans.
fans.
The fan?
That's sad.
That was more fanboys logging on and hating
What's
it.
Star Wars now, like 30% or something?
Star Wars is...
See, I like how he is like, I gotta, go away from this Justice League. Let's mention Star Wars.
No, I'm just curious. But I mean,
Come on, you signed that petition. You signed that petition. Come on, be
Star
honest.
Wars
Be
Last
honest.
Jedi on Rotten Tomatoes. That might be the... It is critically 91.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fans, 49.
Yeah.
That is a bunch of...
It actually went up. I think it was 40 last time.
Can you tell me about this petition you signed? You laugh.
You want to watch?
signed it, didn't you?
You want to watch the MRA version of Star Wars where they edited out all the women?
What?
MRA?
Yeah.
The
Don't worry about it.
trolls.
Don't worry about it.
The trolls came out in force again.
All right, trolls go home. Let's get to the December.
We're going to talk about some nerdy sales charts Toby could check out for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah. All right, see you guys. It was nice.
We actually have not only December's comic sales chart to talk about, we have 2017's to talk about, as well as the store's numbers to talk about. So there's a lot going on here.
Numbers.
So if you're
Did I get my bonus?
Your boners?
My bonus.
This morning.
You get a bonus? You get paid?
Well, in the morning, Yeah.
So in an amazing actual feat, Diamond increased the amount of their top 300 to now top 500 because there's that many comic books coming out that there's significant material in that spots.
How many is
to 500.
how many is 500 selling? How many copies?
I can tell you. The 500th comic is selling
3 copies.
580 copies. But when you get down to these numbers, there's a lot of reorders. But we'll talk about that bottom of the list here in a little bit. Let's go to our top 10 for December 2017, and then we'll do our top. I think we have our top 10, 20
For the year.
for the year. Yeah.
All right, so let's get it out of the way. How many slots does a Batman title take up?
Oops, hold on.
You know, one of these months is going to be all 10.
Yeah.
That would be
Batman
awesome.
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 titles in here.
Are you including Metal? Is that half?
No, Metal I'm counting as a Batman title. So Dark Knight's Metal was the number 2 comic. This is issue number 4 at 152,000 copies. Batman 36 is the number 4 comic at 94,000. Batman number 37 is the number 5 comic at 92,000. Batman White Knight number 3 is the number 6 comic at 72,000. So crazy, crazy numbers on White Knight.
Wait, the annual didn't hit that? Or was annual in November? Or did people just not order because it was an annual?
We already talked about that.
Did we?
Yeah, that was November.
I thought we already did, yeah. And the
everything was screwed up.
The number 9 book is a 0.5 Batman issue. Hawkman Found number 1,
Yeah.
which is the Metal one shot
Yeah, it was good.
at 64,000 copies. So Batman's got quite a few books on that list. There's 2 Marvel books. I'm sorry. There's 3 Marvel books on this list. I apologize. There's 4 Marvel books on this list.
Well, this Phoenix thing happened, right?
Phoenix Resurrection Return in Jean Grey number 1 is the number 3 book at 145,000
Yes.
copies, which includes all the.
145.
It's a lot of copies for that book.
Even with the variants.
With the a lot of copies.
Lenticular.
Well, the big thing is they made that Artgerm cover open order, so there was a Artgerm variant, which I know that sold very well. There was the not lenticular. There was the 3D cover, which was much better looking.
I really like the 3D covers.
Yeah, and there's been legit interest in the Phoenix book. We got 1 and 2 back in stock, and they've been selling very well. So,
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock number 2 at 158,000 copies. That's both covers included. I think that number is staggeringly low. I am blown away that it's only 158,000 copies. I thought it is crazy to me that this isn't twice as much.
Because
But
we're still selling number 1s.
we're still selling 1s and 2s every day. It's nuts. I think there's stores that just did not order this in the quantities that they should have.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that was the number 1 book?
That's the number 1 book, Doomsday Clock. Yep. Number 1 book. So we have 7 and 8. Both Marvel titles.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Number 1s. Well, Amazing Spider-Man. So a non-event Marvel book, although it kind of is. It's kind of an event. Amazing Spider-Man 792 was 61, just shy of 62,000 copies. That was the number 10 comic, and that is the crossover issue into the Venom Inc.
Oh, Inc.
Yeah.
Marvel 2 and 1.
Marvel 2 and 1. Number 1.
There we go.
66,000 copies. That's the number 8 comic. You're just missing number 7.
Well, what was the other one that came out?
Amazing Spider-Man
I just kind of mentioned it.
Venom Incorporated Alpha.
You cheater. Fucking, what are you doing? You goddamn son of a bitch. I see you looking at your phone.
Dude, you're literally looking at the list right now.
I am looking at the list right
Fucking
now.
cheater.
I did cheat.
Why are you cheating? It's not-
Nobody would have gotten
Sure
that.
they would have. I was trying to hint around it because you already guessed Spider-Man. So
Charlie.
there you go.
I haven't read it, so it
Toby?
came and went fast enough. I would never have gotten it.
Brock.
I go with Toby's response. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, see, at this
But I
table,
would have gone
unfortunately.
Venom Inc. because he
Oh,
said it
I
was
probably
associated
would
with-
have cared if I literally it came and went faster than me ever seeing a copy on the shelf.
Yeah.
I never
How many
saw a
copies did
copy
you
on
get for the shelf?
Of what? The Venom
Inc. thing?
Inc. Well, I mean,
Why is
10 more than my normal Spider-Man numbers.
Why?
Why what?
Why did it sell?
Spider-Man and Venom crossing over.
And there's probably a shit ton of variants.
Yeah. And people,
That's it?
and people, it's Venom and a Spider-Man. I've sold out of every issue of it. I mean, we got a few of them back in, but I had sold out of every issue of it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Never saw it.
Yeah.
Think it was traveling.
It's Amazing
Missed
Spider-Man.
it. Should see it.
Well, that's our top 10. Now I know we like to get into. So it was funny because if you actually look at the unit and dollar shares for the month, in a very strange way, this doesn't happen too often. DC won the dollar share, and Marvel won the unit share.
That's
which you
usually
feel like,
backwards.
Which you feel like that should be backwards, right?
Yeah.
And there's.
How was there a really cheap Marvel book?
So here we go. So if you go and
Loot
you
Crate.
actually look at let me get the specific numbers here. Let me get the actual. This is the wrong numbers. Let me get this one. It's got to be here somewhere. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Give me the right numbers. Here we go. Here's the overall market share. So if you get the overall market share for units, this is number of comics sold. Marvel was 38.81%. DC was 37.65%. All right. However, if you come down to the share of overall DC was 34.54% and Marvel was 33.8%. So you have to ask yourself, if Marvel is more expensive on average and sold fewer comics, sold more comics, how did they make less money?
Isn't this the month they had like significantly less on their line?
Well, it's a little bit of that, but Marvel had another one of their gigantic warehouse clearances.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Dumping thousands and thousands of variant covers and old stock into the system at quarter a book, 50 cents a book. Mm-hmm. So the number 500 comic is actually where are we? It's actually I think it's like a Secret Wars variant or something like that.
Hopefully it's not one of those sketch ones.
Where is it? It's it's a Secret Wars number 8 variant cover. They have variant covers going back to 2010 that they were dumping cheap. So, again, this is why I stress the numbers you actually need to look at to see what's going on is the top 300, because those are all new releases for the month.
When they give you the dollar amount, is that like the cost to you, or is that the cost of the sale of the book?
It is what they charge, right? It is. We don't have that number, but it is the I believe like the wholesale amount.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or maybe it is retail, but when it's discounted like that, it's counted at that cheaper price. So that's how Marvel was able to sell more but make less money because of that. So when you actually look at the share of dollar in the top 300, Marvel was at 41.41%, whereas DC was 40.16%. Right, so this is just top 300. So Marvel had a slight edge on the dollar share, but on the unit share, let me go back up here. That's the wrong way. Let me go back this way. Hey, there we go. When you go to the unit share, DC had 42.07% and Marvel had 40.27%. So DC's up about 2% over Marvel, and Marvel's about 1% up over them on the dollar, which that makes more sense because these are the new release titles. So DC sold more comics, Marvel made more money. But they're neck and neck. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're right there with each other. The difference is minuscule.
The thing is you're looking at also. DC's not doing tons of variants and stuff like that to bump the numbers on things.
They do variants.
But they're not quite the same. Not doing the severity that Marvel's doing. So if you didn't have, I think making that Art Germ variant open for the Phoenix book was an intelligent step on, or thing to do for Marvel, but again, it's there's still wasn't there like a 1 in 1,000 for that thing?
Yeah, they all have stupid crazy numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, you have to figure that there's very few of the 1 in 1,000 that made it anywhere.
Yeah. No, but the ones they're getting rid of are 5-year-old 1 in 25 covers in open order.
No, I know that, but I'm saying just for the Phoenix numbers, what helped it was.
Oh, there wasn't a 1 in 1,000 for Phoenix. No,
okay.
Was there?
I thought there was.
Maybe there was I want to say maybe there was a John Byrne Phoenix cover that actually sounds familiar. Maybe there was a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000, but those aren't going to. No one's ordering those.
Yeah.
However, an interesting thing with the sales chart, you would think that since Doomsday Clock was the number 1 book and Phoenix Resurrection was the number 3 book, and they were both the same price, that would make Doomsday Clock the number 1 book as far as dollar, and Phoenix the number 3 or 2 or 3 book. That's not the case, though. According to this chart by Diamond, Phoenix Resurrection is the number 1 book in the dollar amount, and Doomsday Clock's number 2, even though they have the same price point. And Doomsday Clock sold 13,000 more copies. So the discounts are the same. There's no additional discounts for Doomsday Clock.
So assuming it's actually the cost makes up the unit share, could it be that stores that qualify for a bigger discount were ordering more of those?
I don't think so. It's really weird. So either DC flubbed some numbers or Diamond flubbed some numbers. I don't know what's going on here. This is a weird chart. A weird chart to end a weird year. So we're actually going to go to the 2017 list here. Are you looking at the 2017 list?
No.
I'm not going to.
Not yet.
I'm not going to.
He's going to transfer over right now.
No.
No, I'm not going to have you guys guess, but I will give you guys the top 10 comics for 2017 as far as ordered go with a big asterisk on it. Because, as we remember, the lenticular covers for DC are $1 more. Therefore, the numbers don't count when you combine them. So, we have a case where Batman, the button, Flash, the button, Doomsday Clock, those numbers are not counted because it's considered two different titles.
Books,
yeah. If you were to put those books together, Doomsday Clock would have been higher on the chart, and I believe Batman 21 would have broken the top 10 as well. If I think it said the number 5 spot. So number 10, Phoenix Resurrection. Number 9, Metal number 4. Number 8, Doomsday Clock number 2. Number 7, Metal number 2. Oh, and I should say, Phoenix is at 145. Metal number 4 is at 152,000. Doomsday Clock number 2 is 158,000.
Metal number 4 did better than Metal number 1?
No.
For the year?
10 and up. I'm going up. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 8 book is Doomsday Clock 2 at 158, which we just talked about. The number 7 book is Metal number 2 at 160,000. The number 6 is Metal number 3 at 161,000. Number 5 is Secret Empire number 1 at 161,000 as well. Number 4 is Secret Empire 0 at 172,000. And those books actually sold well for us. I know they didn't do well for a lot of stores, but we actually did okay with Secret Empire. Number 3 is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man number 1 at 233,000. And if I'm not mistaken, that had a loot crate attached to it.
It had a loot crate, and I think it had
their box.
It was a Marvel.
It was one of those dumb
crate.
box things, which is why it's up there. Number 2 is Dark Knight Metal, number 1 at 278,000 copies, and that number's probably up a bit because we're on printing, the 5th printing now at this point. And the number 1 book, Marvel Legacy number 1 at 305,000 copies. However, remember, Marvel Legacy was basically not free, but ridiculously cheap to order, even though it had a $6 price point. So,
but it's still the number $1 book.
No, this is it is still the number $1 book. Yeah. Don't know how that works.
Math.
Yeah, because I guarantee you,
Doomsday Clock 1 would have, if you add the numbers together for
they would have been third.
The lenticular, it would have been up to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Batman would have been number 5, pushing Phoenix and Metal 4 off the list. So,
Batman 24?
22.
22.
Just the first part of the button.
Batman 24 was 15th. Just
awesome. Straight. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty much like once we get past it, it's all Batman, right?
Yeah, or Batman 21. I say 22?
Yeah.
It's 21, yeah.
Venom 150.
So, yeah, Legacy Metal, Doomsday Clock, Spider-Man, and Batman 21. Those are the top 5 books. If you're looking at this in a rational way, there's no reason to split those numbers. It's so stupid. So the big thing is, overall North American dollar sales for Diamond Comics, which includes comic books, graphic novels, and magazine, the entire year was $522.25 million, which is down 10% from 2016.
Holy crap, the comic book industry is falling apart. It's at an end. It's coming to a close.
This puts it...
That's okay, Ryan's just keeping it going.
Yeah,
this puts it... The number of comics sold is 49.68 million, which puts it right smack in between 2011 and 2012's numbers. 2011 being kind of when things started to bump back up.
Because of Rebirth or New 52.
Yeah, we had 6 straight years of very solid growth. So yeah, this is a hard year.
But I mean, we're up this year.
Well, yeah, we'll get to our numbers here in a second. A lot of people, have had problems with Marvel. Image didn't really have a big hit this year. I think if this is the low point, we're just going to bounce back up next year. I don't see how 2018 is not over 2017. Rebirth obviously was very strong through 2017, but there's Marvel can't get any lower. We've already seen Phoenix Resurrection. The X books are gaining a little bit of steam. The Avengers thing's doing all right. They've already scrapped, 3/4 of their lowest selling titles. Mm-hmm. There's not too much more they need to dump at this point. So, I'm pretty confident that any problem we've had this year will turn around. If you take a look at the top 1,000 comics of the year, Marvel had 502, DC had 459 of them, Image had 29. Dark Horse had 3, and down the list. So yeah.
Now that's just
crazy amount of.
That's just individual titles.
Yeah,
like individual issues.
Issues within the top 1,000. Okay. Yeah. So, Toby, why don't you come sit and do this podcast, and I'll show you how to use that new point of sale system in a little bit. How. Okay, don't screw up.
So if you guys don't know, I mean, I don't know if I listen to a lot of the podcasts when I'm not on. You should come visit.
Toby just can't sit still.
Toby has a routine that he does every time he comes in, and it's amazing. And that's it. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's amazing.
So, Comics Conspiracy, if we want to look at our numbers.
Yes.
Our December 2017...
Thank you, Tom King and Batman and Scott Snyder.
Of course. Our December 2017, our sales were up 13% over 2016, month to month, which, this new location's been churning up pretty well. Year to year, 2017 and 2016, our sales were up 3.4% versus 2016, which, considering...
the move and
you're gonna need that 3%.
Yeah, well,
Papa needs that 3%.
There's a lot of stores that I've talked to that are down 15 to 20% from last year.
Yes.
Many stores closing, lots of stores.
A lot
suffering.
of stores closed at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, a lot of stores have already closed. We between the move, the big sales. I mean, obviously, the big sales helped because we blew out a lot of product when we did the move. We had a huge opening party. That was a percent or two there, right? But the fact that we're up 2017 versus 2016 is crazy. DC Comics were up 11.5% in 2017 over 2016, and that includes, obviously the insane launch of Rebirth, but that just shows you Metal, Doomsday Clock, and the sustained sales of Rebirth bumped DC up quite a bit.
Well, I mean, it's Rebirth, but we had gotten Rebirth at the end of 2016, so this is just a solid...
No, it was summer 2016. It was May 2016.
Yeah, but the thing is they've had a solid year of Rebirth.
Well, yeah.
In consistency. It's not like people are dropping off as fast as they were dropping off with 52.
No, our Rebirth numbers are very solid this far in. Image, shockingly, was up 19.1%, which to me I was really surprised by. And a lot of that I'm going to assume comes from trade sales because Image hasn't had a big hit this year, but they've had a lot of product. So it could just be we're just selling more. Less per title, but just more overall, and especially on the trade end. Because we have a lot of books that now have multiple volumes of trades out. So, but the big one, Marvel, down 9% versus 2016. Now, here's the thing. If you go back to 2015, you'll remember that was the first year Marvel outsold DC here at the store. Star Wars, Secret Wars, and DC had DCU, and it was a bunch of garbage, right? The reason I think we were spared some of this in 2017, like a lot of stores, our sales for Marvel tanked in 2016. We've already been through this. And again, our Marvel sales are not traditionally as high as our DC sales, so they fell, but they didn't have to fall quite as far. Stores are saying they lost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in Marvel sales this year. Like, we lost some, but not that level. And it was more than made up by DC. So, our 2016 Marvel sales were abysmal compared to 2015. So we didn't lose it in 2017. We'd already lost all our sales, and I cut to the bone Marvel-wise. And I think at this point we can only go up. So
hopefully,
75% of our sales come from comic books and graphic novels. So that's most of
what percent?
75.
That's new. Yep. Is that new and back issues?
No, new comic books and graphic novels. New.
Oh, nice.
Not back issues, not used, not toys. Yeah. And Marvel and DC make up about 70% of that. DC sales for 2017 were 29% over Marvel for 2017. So, nearly 30%. Selling almost 30% more DC than Marvel. So, yeah. Good year for us. Hopefully, all those other stores that were having some trouble, hopefully they can rebound because, it was ugly year for a lot of stores.
Your digital sales at all?
No. This is just in-store sales.
Have you done anything to see if your digital sales have gone up from year over year?
I mean, we're roughly similar. However, November was I believe the best month we've ever had for digital sales because that Black Friday sale was fucking bananas.
What percentage of the store is HeroClix.
I mean, gaming is about 3%, 4%, and 90% of that's HeroClix. So
solid.
2.5% maybe. I mean,
like 8 guys.
We sell a lot of clicks. Yeah, HeroClix does.
That's like 8 people.
Yeah, we sell a lot of HeroClix. There's no way around it. When HeroClix come in, I mean, those are $300-$400 sales all in a go, right? But we've definitely seen clicks slow down this year.
Oh yeah,
it's just too much of it. Just way too much of it, and it's very repetitive. It's the same characters, same sets over and over. I'd love to have Marshall on here to talk about it sometime. He won't, but
he will not go on the radio. I will be able to speak for him if he.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still follow the click stuff.
I'm back in. Yeah.
Sucker.
You'll bump us up to 3%. A solid 3.
Exactly. Solid.
Give me that 0.5%. So Marvel. Hell of a year for Marvel. You could still be number 1, but still be doing but still be not doing great. That's sort of where they are. There's nowhere to go but up for them. So
that's what we hope.
I hope so, because I'd love to have DC gain 11% and Marvel gain 11%. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, because that's just a win in every all over the place.
Yep. Started off the year on the right track with Avengers.
For Marvel?
Yeah.
Phoenix Resurrection's been doing very well. Avengers has been strong. We had a real good response to that first issue. I mean, we sold out. I got more coming.
I know.
The Spider-Man crossover has been doing well. They've done the right thing for scrapping, their bottom 10 selling books. There's a couple that need to still go, but they're going in the right direction. I mean, Doctor Strange. A few of the books are ticking up a couple sales. Again, I'll take every sale I can get from Marvel. It goes up 5 issues, 10 issues. That's awesome. Because I can't have these books that are selling 3 to 5 copies for a major Marvel character. It's just.
I mean, the X books kind of turned around a little bit at the tail end of the year.
They've been selling very steady, double shipping.
They're not its old numbers, but
no. I mean, they are if you count both issues as one comic.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the double shipping has put it back to where it used to be once a month. Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
So, same number of issues, but half the people?
Yeah. That's a problem, right? Because if there's more people, they're going to pick up more stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But just, I'm making $8 a month per X-Men customer... Or $16 a month per X-Men customer.
For blue and gold.
For blue and gold. Whereas I used to make 3 to 6, but there was 3 or 4 as many times as customers, right? So it's like the dollar amount is kind of equivalent, even if it's a quarter as many customers or half as many customers.
Well, I mean, if you just look, like Batman numbers, I mean, at $3 a pop.
Batman numbers doubled and then twice a month. Yeah. It's like, fucking hell. Yeah, Batman is...
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yep. Speaking of Marvel, we got another big shuffle around in the Marvel executive branch, if you will.
Publishing offices.
Yeah, Dan Buckley, who was the publisher of Marvel, has been president for a while now. I don't know who actually... He may have been both publisher and president. I'm not sure exactly what the status was. But John Nee, N-E-E, he formerly at... Wildstorm,
and then
Cryptozoic. He has now been hired back to Marvel to work as the publisher of Marvel. So editorial will be answering to. I'm sorry. Creative will go to him and Joe Quesada. I think editorial still goes to Dan Buckley. So a missing piece of Marvel is back because.
He's doing the marketing and stuff, right? The sales.
I mean, yeah, when you're a publisher, you deal with the book product.
Yeah. Not
editorial. You deal with like the actual the release of the published comics and everything like that, yeah. So a position that needs to be filled. So let's see. Yeah, creative and editorial planning. We'll have oversight from C.B. Cebulski, who's the new editor-in-chief, Joe Quesada, who's chief creative officer, and Dan Buckley. And then, when Johnny comes in, he'll deal with creative and for the actual printed comic books.
Yeah.
So how long has that spot been vacant, or who did he replace? Or
I was looking back at this. I think Dan Buckley was basically acting as both publisher and president. I think he sort of like assumed both roles. Quesada he's been chief creative officer for quite a while now, but he's come back to help out, kind of like Jeff Johns, how he comes and goes from DC Comics. As you know, Jeff Johns and Quesada have the same position. So now Quesada is back helping on the comic end through editorial and creative, and now John Nee will be the middleman. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe they were just short editorial staff. So again, nowhere to go but up at this point. So we'll see if anything comes of this. We had a bunch of random stuff from the other week. Oh, maybe Toby. Maybe this may be a little up your alley here. I don't know if you saw this. Rumor is Marvel is shutting down their entire Disney XD
animation
production. Yeah, for all their animated shows.
All right.
Does this include the new Spider-Man that we just saw the trailer for?
That's a movie.
No. Yeah. This is just for the Disney XD animated series. So Avengers Assemble, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Spider-Man, which have had various names throughout the years as they've had different titles depending on what season it is. It's funny. I got some flack on this from people online because they're like, 30-year-old guy complaining about kids' cartoons, and I'm like, look,
too bad you're only 50.
Wait, yeah, I know. I was like, I wish I was 30. But this is the problem. Cartoons are generally they are not these are not necessarily aimed at kids, right? I mean, there are plenty of kids' cartoons.
The Disney XD shows are aimed at kids, though.
Well,
or young,
right?
Yeah.
But there is a ton of superhero stuff that is aimed at an all ages and adult audience. So I feel like these were not kiddie enough to be like just a kid show, but they weren't good enough to, if you will, good enough to be in all ages or aimed at adults. So
how did the toys sell?
Again, probably not well, because if they were selling well, then they keep them around, right?
Yep.
That's always how it comes down.
Did they even have toys, Charlie?
Oh, they had tons of toys.
For those shows specifically?
Especially the Spider-Man one, because they kept so-and-so's Iron Spider or something. They did a very good job keeping the toys going for that for a long time. I don't know how the current toys are doing, but yeah.
Well, when you announced this to our internal Facebook thingy for topics to talk about, I went to my source. And I will not reveal who my source is, but this is what I got back. Yeah, it sounds like all the shows are ending. I have no idea what's going on. And that's about it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So maybe they're doing a show for everybody again. Who knows?
Yeah. It is crazy to me that Marvel continues to have such lackluster animation programming being run by Disney. I mean, look at Star Wars. Rebels has been amazing, and it's gotten an audience of both young and old.
But that's coming to an end, too. Like, this is the final season of Rebels.
Right, but it's been there the whole time, right? I mean, and they will just have another cartoon to follow that up, right?
It's not that they will continue to have a Star Wars property on there, yeah.
And they had it with Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I hate to keep going back to that show, but it was so well done. I would kill for a great Spider-Man cartoon that is all age appropriate. I mean,
there was one. But you hated it.
I didn't like Spectacular, but you did.
Yeah. This was awesome.
Yeah. So
we're getting a Teen Titans Go movie.
We are getting a Teen Titans Go movie, and I am super excited for that. Again, talk about a show that is both aimed at kids and adults. It may not.
It's aimed at adults, but kids can understand it enough that they find it funny.
It kills me when people write that show off, because Teen Titans Go is way better than it has any right to be.
Oh, whenever anybody starts complaining about it, all I hear is waffles.
It's so funny, and it's a little fucked up at points.
Dance for your bees?
I was gonna say more than a little.
Yeah. It's. I don't say like Ren and Stimpy light, but it gets to some weird moments, and yeah.
That rock special they had.
Did you see that one? No. There's so many episodes now.
Are you talking about The Night Begins to Shine?
Yeah, The Night Begins to Shine. Holy crap,
so
that's
far
weird.
Behind. Yeah, there's so many. I think they just passed episode 200 recently.
Oh, wow.
They're cranking them out. There's so many.
Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully that leads to some better cartoons. We'll see what happens. So I did not get a chance to see Supergirl yet.
I didn't either.
You guys didn't get a chance to watch it. I wanted to watch it to try to talk about it today, but it ran out of time. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the look of Brainiac 5.
Isn't he blue?
He's blue, and he's got the little dots on his head.
What?
But
he's blue?
Yeah, he's blue. But I did see one of the trailers, and he seems okay, like acting wise in it. It feels like Brainiac 5. It's just the visuals aren't the best. But I'm gonna try to report back on that next week.
I feel like this is Internet Troll 101.
What's that?
Just he doesn't look exactly the same. He sucks.
No, I don't care that he doesn't look the same. He just looks weird. Like, it doesn't look...
That's not what you said online.
It doesn't look right.
You threw the hammer down online.
You're a super nerd hater.
Yeah.
He looks
person.
like sickly. Like, it looks
If
like
I wanted to train internet trolls, I would have just sent them in your direction.
Yeah.
Go to Ryan Higgins.
You show him this picture.
I think my reply was.
Respond.
I think my post said "kill myself," and then a picture of Brainiac 5, like
trolling 101.
Yeah, and they're gonna cancel Supergirl next season because of you.
No,
so everybody loses.
No, because what'll happen is I'll watch it and be like, "This is the best thing ever," because it's DC, right? So.
So everybody listening, there's a junior college that's local to us, Dianza. There's a class opening up spring quarter called Internet Trolling 101, taught by Professor Ryan Higgins.
Take him to school.
But we do get Black Lightning tonight.
Black Lightning starts tonight too. Yep. So we'll probably try to come in and cover all this stuff.
I think I forgot to set my TiVo.
I did too.
I didn't.
Do it right now on your phone?
I got the Xfinity thing, so I just hit Black Lightning, and it's recording now.
Yeah.
Record Black Lightning.
Oh, none of you guys have to do that because come 12 o'clock, it's just going to be on the CW app.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just need to make sure
You guys are not with the times, man.
But then you got to watch the commercials.
I'll have to watch them either way.
Then you just go right through them.
I'll have to watch them either way.
You watch them anyway? You don't have a remote?
I have to watch them either way.
Is that your job?
No, I can't pass forward them.
Oh, because you only have the app.
I only have the app and only have streaming for TV. I don't have no DVR.
House.
I could.
Yeah, he cut the cord and he's got to live with commercials. What a moron.
Sure. How much do you pay and how much do I pay?
Doesn't matter. I get TV. That's all I care about.
I get TV too.
I have money.
I get TV too.
Yeah.
I pay far less than you do.
That's fine.
I can't afford it. I'm not rich like you. It's all right. I don't own a comic book store.
Yeah,
I have to do how I do.
That DC money.
Rolling big.
Again, thank you, Tom King, Batman, Scott Snyder.
Tom King, come
I'd
on
say
our
something, but
podcast
you don't like talking about work.
so we can thank you for
I can't wait for
Ryan
Black
to
Knight
live
tonight.
in the Bay
I
Area.
had cable when I was like when I was working a Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's
okay?
because you're rich, dude. When I was a Blockbuster, I had freaking rabbit ears and having to point him in the right direction to get
I was
crappy
making
basketball.
$7 an hour.
Yeah.
I can afford cable.
Yeah, well, that's you.
I'm just picturing the old Monty Python skit of them all sitting around going, back in my day.
Yeah.
That's not
Did you see the stuff Brandon Ralph was saying about Lightning? He said some really nice things about it. I'm really
what Lightning?
stuck. Black.
They had that DC at DC thing this weekend where DC Comics went to Washington, D.C. to do a convention. And, I wasn't there, so I can't talk about it. But yeah, that's where they premiered Black Lightning. I think that's where everyone got to see it. So
Cool.
We got a ton of questions to get to. Let's start with Ulysses here. He sent me some pictures here, so I had a reference for what he was talking about.
Help.
He said, why is Jeff Johns getting a lot of hate from Zack Snyder fans?
Huh?
Talking that he ruined Zack Snyder's vision. Jeff Johns is an outstanding comic book writer. So, yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this. I mean, there's endless hate online.
Ryan.
If anything, it should be that Jeff Johns should be actually given a real chance to fix all the movies.
Correct. But there's a ton of hate online for the Justice League movie from Zack Snyder fans who felt that Whedon fucked up the movie.
Look,
hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
Look, the 7 of them need to go somewhere.
Correct.
And protest again?
And protest again.
Right.
Was it only 10 of them?
So
7 should just get laid.
So Ulysses, what's going on here is that a bunch of nerds are mad on the internet. Like they're mad at Jeff Johns because
they took the Ryan Higgins class.
That's news.
yeah.
Hey,
Took one A.
bunch, handful.
I mean, yeah. There's definitely some big Snyder fans out there. I mean, I consider myself a fan as well, but I like the movie, so whatever. But it's not Jeff Johns they're attacking. They're literally attacking anyone they can about this. Mm-hmm. So that's what that is. Ooh, here's a good one from Tyler. He says, "What's your favorite retcon and what's your most hated retcon?"
I
know Charlie's.
Yeah.
You should know
favorite is easy.
Parallax?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
The favorite is easy. I'm just sitting here going, what's the worst?
My least favorite.
Yep. The Hal Jordan Parallax Lantern, that whole thing, that's easy on my favorite. Yeah.
And you should know my least favorite.
Spider-Man, the marriage or the
One More Day.
One More Day, yeah.
All of a sudden, he's not married. I made a deal with the devil to not be married.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And not show.
Well, you may be getting that back soon if rumors are be believed.
Stupid.
Yeah.
He should be married.
I believe so. Yeah.
Write your way out of it. Daredevil gets unmasked all the time. And they write their way out of it. They don't retcon it.
They find a way right back.
They just show up. Spider-Man just shows up in Daredevil's outfit and jumps around a little bit. Or Iron Fist or whoever. That's
me.
The community on speed dial.
Yeah,
Luke Cage in a Daredevil costume.
That'd be solid.
It'll be funny as hell.
I mean, those are big ones.
Isn't he bigger? No,
well,
it's Daredevil.
I think it just looks at how does the stories play out with this? Can you make it better with this retcon? Green Lantern's case, yes. Spider-Man's case, arguable. I would think no, but
I think something I didn't like them doing was retconning or getting rid of Wolverine's adamantium and doing the bone for so long.
Like that's not a retcon, though. That's a retcon is when you say, "Oh, that didn't happen. This happened," instead of that's just
they wrote themselves
that's
out.
That's just the plot. Yeah, that's just the story.
How about when they ignore something? Does that count as a retcon?
Sure, sure. I mean, like a great retcon is retconning Maxwell Lord's death, right? And they were just like, he's alive, and we're gonna make an awesome villain, and we're just not gonna. And that's a retcon of the original character entirely.
I was just going to say, I'm just choosing to believe that Sin's past was retcon. That it just never happened.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
Sin's past really scarred you, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
That's actually probably one of my favorite things when writers will go through and start out. It's not even a retcon. It's like, nah, that just didn't exist.
Yeah.
And here we are going forward. Well, by the way, he died before, but that's not a big deal.
Was the claw hand for Aquaman retcon, or did they write out of that?
No, that's in there. No, they
write it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He got it back. Well, like with
he got better.
He got better.
He had a water hand at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, Aquaman's gone through a lot of great designs. Like, that's one of the weird things, like with the sort of pirate hook hand and the water. Like, I like all those designs.
Yep. Matt says, "Who's your favorite character that isn't a superhero or supervillain? Lois Lane or Moira McTaggart?" He says mine is Amanda Waller. That's a good choice. Does Crypto count as a superhero?
Yes.
Yeah, Crypto's a superhero.
I was going to say,
I'll give you the dog. I'll give you Batman's dog.
It depends on where you draw that line with supervillain for me.
Bat Cow.
Yeah,
come on.
No. Bat Cow has superpowers.
Does he?
No, I don't know.
he just has the mask.
It's he
lives in the Bat Cave.
It could be.
Easily. Lois, obviously. Alfred's great.
Lois is.
It's
Lois.
Alfred.
Iris West.
Iris is good.
Mary Jane.
Yep, Mary Jane's good. Yep, it's the big ones. Big supporting cast characters.
Rick Jones, depending on
he's been a bunch of hero characters.
Like 10
though.
heroes, but he's a normal guy.
Rick Jones has been a bunch of hero characters.
And then they fix him, and then they do it again.
Keith asks about Brainy on Legion. Yeah, we can't talk about that. We didn't get a chance to.
Well, you can speculate
talk about it. Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Well, again, I don't think he looks that great because Supergirl's had a good look. I just thought
he looks.
But he seems
in the trailer,
fine.
He looked fine to me, but still images are the worst.
Yeah.
I've come to this conclusion for a long time. Looking at like a still image of most characters, I'm going to be annoyed by it till I see it on the screen in motion.
Yeah, it's stuff. Yeah. Kooky Guy on Twitter. He said, "What's the
guy?
Kooky Guy?
Kooky?
Really?
Kooky, not cookie.
Yeah, that's why I said Kooky.
Kooky, yes, Kooky Guy." He says, and this is a tough question for any of us to answer, except for maybe Scott. He says, "What's the last issue you felt actually deserved its cover price?" For me, it was Miracle Man. See, the problem is, I don't have to buy any comic book. I mean, I technically buy them all, right? But I don't pay cover price for anything, and you guys don't either because you work here. But
except for when I ring myself up, supposedly
accidentally, when you accidentally charge yourself cover price for everything.
I will say Justice League Annual.
Justice League Annual.
Or, sorry, Batman
The Batman Annual?
Yeah. Batman Annual 2.
Yep. Tom King one.
It was kind of a...
Yeah, I mean... It's any comic that's good is like, yeah, that's worth it. Any comic that sucks, you're like, oh, that's
So
worth it.
when you asked that question, I thought about one comic.
Don't go too far, Toby. You're going to want to answer this next question.
Not a story. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You look at just what one comic. Because everything else is like a story of...
Honestly, for me, it's hard to answer that for single issues, and it would be for like trades or hardcovers, just because I always do the math and determine whether or not the retail price on that is worthwhile. Yes, I always go, it's this many issues, therefore it's this price per issue. And
is it a pretty hardcover?
Yeah.
Is it my size?
Why do I have like 15 messages on my phone?
Who's texting you?
I can't even get into it. It's a bunch of iPhone messages, so my phone like wigs out because I can't deal with all of them.
Are you in a group chat or something?
Apparently.
currently in a group chat.
This is from Christopher. He says this may take some time. That's all right. He says,
Wait, is it Chris Noyes?
No.
Damn it.
He says, but I'd like to know the official comics conspiracy pitch for integrating the Marvel Fox properties into the MCU. So how do they do it? How do they say that X-Men and Fantastic Four and the Avengers have been around next door to each other this whole time?
Okay.
Gauntlet. That's all they have to do at this point.
I was not here last week.
Yeah.
And you said, what was the best way to introduce the Fantastic Four? And I said, at the end of Infinity Gauntlet.
Kill everyone and just have the FF there?
They just show up and they start the beatdown. That's the end. They start the fight, and then it just fade to black.
They're on the ropes,
and then
Thanos is about to kill everyone, and then out of nowhere, it's clobbering time, and the thing just comes flying through the screen. And nobody knows what's going to happen.
The thing is they need to be backed up by all the entities at that point.
Nah, it wouldn't matter. The fans would lose their shit.
I literally had given up hope of seeing the entities in this, but you just made me realize it's technically possible.
Now, yeah.
How amazing would that be? They're just down and out, and he's going to finish it up. And then Reed Richards, you see me.
I think they're going to do a Flashpoint or something like that. Realistically, because I mean, think about it. The way Secret Wars ended with the fact that the Fantastic Four had to rebuild the multiverse and all that. The Gauntlet's the same kind of thing. Once you've wiped out enough things, somebody's got to use the Gauntlet to put it back together.
Maybe it's future Franklin by himself just comes and beats on Thanos and takes the Gauntlet and fixes everything.
It's clobbering time.
Yeah.
It could just end with like
the orange foot.
Well, no, you know how it ends, right? They're all getting their ass kicked. Chris Evans comes walking up, and everyone's like, Cap, and he goes, flame on, and the movie just ends. The movie just ends right there.
It's like, I only told you I wouldn't be Captain America anymore. I wouldn't be the Human Torch.
You have to specifically say that Evans, because if you call Chris on set, all of them come.
Yeah, I saw the joke.
I wonder what the sale did to its plans. Like they must have had a completely different plan, and then the sale happened.
Well, it's not over. I mean, it could still not happen.
Yeah.
It could be years before they actually own Fox.
Do you think they're gonna just finish off their original plans and then they start over completely?
They finished Avengers 4. It's already done.
Yeah, but there's all the stuff after. There's the Black Panther 2, and there's the other stuff. No.
Look, stuff is coming, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Captain Marvel?
So this is the thing that a lot of people have been asking about. Oh, Captain Marvel's before, isn't it?
At the end,
movie?
Is Captain Marvel
at
before
the end of
Avengers?
I think it's between Avengers 3 and 4.
Yeah.
At the end of Black Panther 2...
We're not going to know anything until after Avengers 3.
At the end of Black Panther 2 is the Black Panther's new bride, Storm, going to roll out with him. Thunder
No,
down.
I know. I think they're going to...
All right, geeks, get your goosebumps
I think
going.
after Avengers 3, they'll tease a little bit about what's coming after. Because I know Guardians 3 just got announced, like 2020 kind of officially.
But do you think they're going to write this Wave 4, Wave 5 out, and then they're going to just start over completely with every property, almost every? They still have to Hulk.
I mean, I think the best method for them to do is
Poor She-Hulk.
have a couple more, end it, bring in the X-Men, bring in FF, recast everyone.
completely.
Yeah, because at that point...
You get another 30, 20 years out of it.
Yeah. Just recast everyone, recast Wolverine, recast
much
all the
money.
X-Men. Start at the beginning. Start with the Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
And
Are
go
we
from
gonna
there.
actually get
And
more of
honestly, give everyone a year off. Like, give the world a year or two off.
Are you kidding?
And if it's going to mean 3 or 4
It's not going to happen, but it would be nice
If they gave
even if they
break
only
in
did
time.
one movie that year.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Because I've like I don't believe that we're in some sort of like that we're on the precipice and all of a sudden the entire industry is going to fall apart. Like I think the superhero movies are going to keep making a ton of money. But that said, I think if they take if they get to the end,
shitballs,
take a break, and then
we're gonna have to,
and then go. Okay, let's
Brock
not
was
ask.
really excited about you coming in right now. He just said shitballs the minute the door got
Shitballs.
open.
I heard
I
shit.
actually
Heard shit house. Actually, that's what I heard. So,
All are accurate.
Bryce is here,
Yay.
so I won't ask any question that has a potentially long answer.
I was about to say, how far into the podcast are we already?
Yeah. Here's one from Norman, and this is a good one for Toby. He says, "I was wondering how does it feel about variant covers? In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was a lot easier to collect full runs of a book without having to deal with numerous variants and convention one-shots.
Super annoying.
Does anyone on the panel purchase every cover for any specific books?"
Sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I totally do. I totally collect variant covers for a couple books.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about your Justice League.
I
New
have.
52.
I have seriously. My New 52 Justice League is a long box,
But how many covers do you have for number 1?
like 13 or something like that.
I have
or
every
14.
single Gambit cover for number 1,
Yeah. Some of those
which
books
was like 5 or 6.
Some of those books have a stupid amount of comics. I think I have something like 40 issues of Sandman Overture
Yeah.
between all the covers and all the.
Oh, you're far worse than me. Good.
But it's only for a couple very specific things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing I ever get into collecting all the variants on tends to be small press stuff where I'm just going to support this book, so I'll buy the 3 different covers they put out.
So the funny thing is, I buy all the variant covers for comics that I really like the writers of,
Yeah.
who have nothing to do with the variant covers.
Yeah, which makes no friggin' sense at all.
By Jeff Johns and Grant Morrison books, I want variant covers for.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it could be the ugliest cover of all time. You'd still buy it.
Jim Lee.
I didn't
buy it
start
all the
with Tom
time.
King, and I'm not going
Almost.
back. But I will buy
I can't really pull the trigger on a lot of those Tim Sale covers.
no,
so.
but I did buy the Aquaman cover this week. The Joshua Middleton Aquaman cover this week is fucking gorgeous.
the Mara one.
Yeah. So I'll buy them occasionally, right? I've been buying all the Artgerm Supergirl covers. Matina did a Flash variant recently. I bought that one. I'm buying all the covers for Metal. Yeah, sure. So I will for some stuff, but I don't go out and I'm not going to buy Metal number 1 is something like 30 store exclusive covers and con covers. I'm not buying that. If someone brings them into the store,
I like
and they're
Harley
covered-
Quinn, and I'm not even going to try and track down
Oh
all
God,
the Harley number 1s.
no, that's impossible. No.
It's not impossible. It's just
You just get every statue that comes out.
pretty much that's what I do.
Ooh,
Almost everyone.
it's a good question.
Mr. Larson, how's it going?
I'm watching this Arrow episode. I can't believe how much action there is in this one episode.
Way more than the first 6 episodes of Punisher. That's for sure.
Variants, yeah. I don't know. I don't really. I love variants. I think that some variants are beautiful, but I would collect them more for sort of trophy status more than anything else for me. If there's 2 variants on the wall, I'll choose the one that I think looks cooler, but I won't usually get both of them.
Copy of Damage on the wall this week. The DC book. Continue. I was not interrupting you.
Oh no, I don't have a.
You don't have a lot to
He
say?
almost said it. He almost said it.
I don't have a lot to say about variants. Variants are very exciting.
Toby's pulling apart this cover of Damage #1.
Wait, so can you explain this Damage thing to me? Is this just like DC's Hulk ripoff?
Well, we're going to talk about that we're going to talk about that right now. Indie Gator asks, place your bets on the Metal spinoff. What succeeds, what won't? So let me give you guys a little backup here, a little backstory here. So, starting this week, we have the launch of DC Age of Heroes, which is DC saying we're on fire, so we're going to launch 8 new comics. Hopefully they succeed, and I think some will do well. So we have a couple books here. Where's my checklist?
They've been putting a preview of the Terrifics in the books for the past few weeks.
Well, they've had things on each book, yeah. So let me grab my list here. I had a better list, but this will be the list we'll have to do because I can't find the other one. So there is Damage by Tony Daniel and Robert Venditti. And if you notice, they're focusing the artist first. These are artist-led titles. Damage is a new version of the character Damage, no relation to the original DC character, but it does seem, or at least none that we know, but it is sort of like this Hulk-like character that works for government.
And in the marketing for it, they say there's a new Smash in town.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the story?
It's funny because as we start to go through these titles, tell me if you feel like some of these sound familiar, okay?
That's hilarious.
So Silencer is Armida Jr. and Dan Abnett. She's a female assassin. She formerly worked for League of Assassins, and she's going to go up into Talia al Ghul, but kind of a Punisher-like character. Kenneth Rocafort, Dan Didio, and Justin Jordan are doing Sideways. He can kind of teleport around, very Spider-Man-like character, if you will. We have The Terrifics by Ivan Rice and Jeff Lemire, which is Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and I'm blanking on the Legion character. I'm going to dock myself
Dawnstar?
10
Invisible
Legion points. Basically, yeah. Phantom Girl, Jesus. Phantom Girl, right. So a little FF there.
Little?
Yeah. Immortal Men, which is Jim Lee, written by James Tynion, who is all the immortal characters that are in Metal right now. All those, they were in a couple of the issues.
So Great Lake Avengers?
What? Brimstone, which is by Philip Tan and Justin Jordan.
I got you.
Which is kind of a Ghost Rider-y character. New Challengers, which is by Andy Kubert and Scott Snyder. And then The Unexpected, which is Ryan Sook. And New Challengers is Challengers of the Unknown. New take on Challengers of the Unknown. And Unexpected, which is Ryan Sook and Steve Orlando, which is a bunch of characters who try to have kind of redemption for their past mistakes, maybe a little Thunderbolts. Yeah. They're definitely going for a bit of that Marvel... a bit of that Marvel feel. I mean, I hate to say it, but the books they're going to do, the books that will succeed are the books of the big creative teams that actually have some amount of characters that people are familiar with. The Immortal Men do have, it's James Tynion and Jim Lee, and although Jim Lee won't stick on it, it has characters It has Vandal Savage, it has Ra's al Ghul, will eventually be in it. Issue number 3 has the Batman Who Laughs, so I mean they're bringing the big guns into there. New Challengers is Scott Snyder, so that's going to succeed. And The Terrifics is, again, Plastic Man and Metamorpho and Jeff Lemire, and again, characters The rest...
Did you read The Terrifics already?
See. I read the first issue, yeah.
And?
It's really good. Yeah. I mean, it's set up, right? It's a lot of setup, but Tom
There's
Strong...
no snarky comments, so you're actually for real this time, yeah?
It's Jeff Lemire, yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
So what is going to be better, Damage or Cho Hulk?
Well, Damage. Come on.
I don't know.
It's not at least.
See, now you said that with a smile, so you're back to trolling Ryan.
At least DC is doing.
I just chose trash, like just straight trash. Like Damage.
So you hate Asians.
Damage has a chance. No, I hate the Hulk kind of. Damage has a chance of being something decent, but it's not going to be great. Well, I don't.
Their creative artists are actually probably the ones that are going to make the difference on some of those titles. But
yeah, they're pushing art over.
So it might be the Return of Wildstorm.
A little bit.
Are they? Are they watching? Did they watch the Marvel numbers in the last year?
Well, if they somehow do better, then it's a big troll by DC.
Yeah, and I mean,
huge.
I also don't know which Marvel universe you're talking about that they have a Fantastic Four book.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, this just sounds like DC
right
got
now.
tired of people saying this is what we want from Marvel, and Marvel wasn't doing it, so it's listening to the market. Whether or not it's going to
we'll put
work.
out a good Hulk book, a good Fantastic Four book, a good Spider-Man book. Actually, Spider-Man's been good.
Well, the funny thing is, this came out because of Marvel's putting a foot in their mouth last year where they were like, well, artists don't really move the needle, and DC was like, we'll show you, we'll have all these artist books. And now,
So it is a troll book.
Well, it's a troll book, and then the double troll is that the books are all like 6 months late now because it was supposed to start out in like September. So, like, typical artists, like, books are fucking hella late already.
But fuck you, Ryan.
But it gave them time to get more issues in the can, and they listened to many retailers and are actively promoting this as part of a spin-off of Metal and coming out of Metal, because at first they were just going to drop these books to the market, and retailers were like, like, nobody's going to care about this.
Wasn't their official comeback actually, we'll show you, we have Jim Lee on staff, and that's really sort of the trump card that they...
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they didn't really need to...
The other thing is I mean, I know DC made a point of that they're not doing a variant covers for these. They're not doing... There's not a second book. They're not doing anything crazy. They're
just one cover.
That makes sense for
trifold
artist-led stories.
But what do you put on a Jim Lee cover as a variant?
A fucking another Jim Lee
Yeah, I was
cover.
going to say, you just,
Stupid question.
The black and white
just
version.
figure out how many different covers Jim Lee can do if he has an extra 6 months before these books come out.
Yeah.
Right. You could do another cover or two. We have a bunch of questions, but actually, I think this one's going to take a little bit, so we're going to wrap up on this one. Because this is actually a good question.
You're
I feel
telling
like,
us we're not going to answer any more questions except this one.
yeah. There are other questions. There's a couple more questions, but
Just got here.
Yeah,
otherwise,
I'm ready to answer some.
well, yeah, you'll
Just throw them away.
Next week.
well, I gotta find the. I just had it, now it's gone. What happened?
How do you not know how to use a computer?
I mean, I do. It was here, and now it's there. There we go. This is a question from Tim. He says, Secret Origins are great for guests on the podcast. Is there any chance of doing some for all our veteran members? Now, I believe if you go back to everyone's first episode that we were ever on, so like the first episode that me and Brock did, and we cover all this stuff here. But I guess it has been a very long time, and we do have lots of new listeners, and maybe we should briefly go around the table. Briefly.
So we're letting Bryce go first?
Challenge accepted.
And let's end this podcast. You know, it's the start of a new year, kind of. Let's look back a little bit at how did all of us get in the comic books? Keep it short. Don't have all night, but
and also we can also do we can add to the Secret Origin where because at least I know for me I had a lull, and then I had a rebirth.
Give us your Secret Origin.
You rejiggered your stuff.
Jesus Christ. There was probably a white event in there.
I think there was.
Old school.
Yeah. No, I mean, long as I can remember, for me, comics were always just kind of in the background, but it wasn't until I kind of started going to like the shop that was close to me, Brian's Books. This was when it was on Calabasas and Cabrillo in Santa Clara in a strip mall. I think it was next to like an aquarium, and yeah, it was. And that's where I bought my first comic that I remember, which is Batman and the Outsiders #1. Before that, I mean, I saw them on spinner racks at like drugstore places and all that stuff, but never really got into it until after that. I mean, I never got a ton of stuff as a kid, but I kind of got back into it as a teenager a little bit. I was always kind of in it. I met you in high school over a Wizard magazine.
Yep.
And you got me into Sandman and all the mature stuff that was coming out of Vertigo. Dropped off for a little, or read after high school for a little while, then dropped off. Would come back every so often, buy a Wizard magazine, a handful of comics.
Good old Wizard.
Yep. And then
I haven't had someone ask me for a Wizard in a while. I feel like I'm due.
Do you have a new Wizard?
They're coming back. Aren't they coming back?
Dude, they're not going to be. Wizard's not going to be around next year. They're done. Like the
Wizard still exists
for the
I thought they were coming back in print.
for the con.
Weren't they announcing it at one point?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Yeah, they do the convention still, but they apparently lost all their fucking money last year.
They didn't do it
so,
very
yeah,
smartly.
They're done.
Very smartly.
Yeah.
So, and then I was pretty much out until
unsmartly.
about 11 years ago when I walked in
Yeah.
to the old location and asked you, will you still work here? And you basically looked at me and said, bitch, I own the place.
I do. I did.
And I've been back ever since. So that's pretty much
What
how.
was the question?
What's your secret origin, Toby?
Again?
Well, you got to.
Yeah, we're giving a refresh.
We're refreshing
Scott,
for
for new listeners.
For the new 52 listeners we've picked up.
Scott,
We've picked up 52
what's
listeners.
your secret origin? Move the mic towards your mouth first. Thank you.
Simple. Dad went on business trips, came home with comic books. So there's kind of your pre-comic book shop entry into the comic business, and it's
So your dad was buying affection?
yep,
Okay.
that's what happens. Spider-Man 172, first appearance of the Rocket Racer. Fantastic book. Will-O-Wisp shows up at the end, and I don't know what's going to happen to Spider-Man.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
Now I want to know what happens.
And I didn't know for years. You don't want to know why? Because
I
my
do.
dad didn't go on a trip the next month.
God damn it, senior.
So, and then comic book shops come, neighbors, blah, 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 college. And then I want you, the listeners, to kind of get this image in your head. So, about 1995, I want you to imagine Ryan Higgins.
Oh, God.
And Ryan Higgins has long hair and a little ponytail. He's wearing a black trench coat, some Doc Martens.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
not sure if he owns anything but black.
Nope.
And
Not at that point.
Unless it was like some kind of Bauhaus t-shirt. So Ryan is like kind of emo, head to the side. I want you to think about, he's pasty white. Just super
He's still
pasty.
pasty white.
Yeah,
So-
that doesn't change.
This is pre-Ryan owning the shop. Pre-Ryan maybe even working in the shop.
Not officially yet. No.
Yeah.
No, that was
emo.
97.
This is emo Ryan sitting in the corner, and at that point, I was an experienced collector. At that point, getting probably a stack of 50 comic books every week.
I would have
don't
been.
know. Ryan might have been able to scrounge
95.
together
I would've
enough
been
money
16.
for 3. And
I somehow
makes-
always bought comics. I don't know. I had money. I don't know. That's because I'm rich.
You're rich, motherfucker.
born rich.
It just
You weren't here. You weren't
you were here for the earlier part of the
you
conversation.
should listen to this one later.
I have cable, so I'm rich.
Yeah, you
according,
fucking rich.
according to
According
Toby.
to Toby.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I have
He's
cable
rich.
too. I am not rich.
Yeah, so that was, raised as a comic book guy. It makes me proud to have seen Ryan grow up into the enterprising young man that went out into the world and took a risk on buying a comic book shop from Ken Fetty.
Yeah, that was a risk.
It actually kind of was. No, you don't understand. There's some behind the scenes stuff.
Okay,
It actually
so-
was a risk.
His name is really confetti.
Yeah, Ken Fetty.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Ken Fetty.
Yeah, I said confetti.
Confetti. So,
This doesn't have to be a secret origin of how you met me or anything.
Nah,
Like,
I mean,
this could be just your
but
comic
it's a good
secret
story for the
Way
listeners.
better story. Way better.
So,
I know. I was going to tell that story instead.
No,
of
the
anything.
story goes on. So young Ryan, you have this emo Ryan,
Yeah,
trench
he's
coat.
super emo.
He's grown up a little bit, so
They can find this on Facebook if they wanted that picture.
Yeah.
Leanne's posted it like numerous
so
times.
great. Ken, when Ryan buys the comic book shop, is probably 50% Lady Death type comic books, and I'm not lying, like 50%.
More so.
And I would come in,
Dawn,
Ken,
Lady Death.
you own the shop. If you're listening right now, Ken, I did enjoy you owning the shop, but I did not enjoy you trying to sell me Lady Death because I might like it. There you go. Still like you, Ken. Shout out. You've got a lot of voice on this.
Ken does not listen to this podcast.
What?
Well, you might.
He might. You don't know that.
Actually,
We've got like 2,000 listeners.
No,
Or
way-
two.
Way more than that.
What?
or
Oh,
two.
More than that.
More than that?
More than that. They tune in every week to hear Ryan talk about lists and how much DC is better.
Oh, guess what today was?
No, the
Today
list
was all
awesome
the
today.
lists.
Hey, I have a question that I want to submit via verbally. Does that work? Yes. Who was the top comics publisher, since I missed the beginning of the episode, of 2017?
DC.
Not for your store, for the industry.
Marvel.
Oh,
Yeah.
phew! Dodge that bullet.
Bryce, what's your secret origin?
My secret origin was my dad would go on business trips, and he'd come home with, "I'm your brother."
What? Did that just happen?
That's
Are we best friends?
that's.
If you guys get into bunk beds together, I'm out.
They already have bunk beds together. What are you talking
That's awfully
about?
specific. Where the fuck did bunk beds come into
Step
this?
Brothers, it's a quote.
Oh, okay. I haven't actually seen Step Brothers. If you can,
What?
Yes, if you can believe it.
Neither have I.
Oh, Scott. Scott is very upset. My secret origin was just collecting comic book. Oh man, I gotta think about this.
First comic book, go.
Collecting.
First comic book, go.
It was Death of Superman.
First loved comic book, go.
X-Men, Jim Lee, pool scene, Psylocke, mic drop.
Mic drop.
What issue is that
Favorite
in? One?
artist?
in? It was in the first
No.
Favorite artist you
5,
still
6,
love?
8, Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
But they colored like this part wrong. The color all pink and shit.
When was the first comic that you decided you actually liked writing better than the art?
Oh, it was like in 2017. No, it was
Tom King.
It's because you read a DC book. So.
No, that never happened. Let's see. Until I hit puberty, which was my early 30s.
So yesterday.
Let's see here. So, yeah, I would say that my secret origin was I got spinner rack comics throughout my childhood, and my parents got me this whole from the local comic shop that was before I met Higgins. They got me the whole postcard thing of the Death of Superman that had like the whole list of everything that you needed to buy, and they got me everything on the list, and I absolutely loved it. And Death of Superman got me all excited about it, and from there it was Spider-Man and X-Men.
Bryce, when was your hiatus?
My hiatus was during college.
Was it also when you met your wife?
No.
No?
Fucking how old do you think I am, bro? Like
I don't
when
know.
I met my wife,
Yeah.
I'm in my mid-30s right now, and I've only been married for 5 years. Was I on the 10-year plan at school? Maybe 15-year plan at university?
Lots of people go.
Yeah, man. Why you hating?
I went for 8.
They're called doctors. Give me some credit.
I went for 8. I don't have a doctor.
Bryce. Bryce.
Yeah.
What comic brought you back from your hiatus?
It was
laughing at you, Brock.
I know, I don't care.
Uncanny X-Men 350 with Joe Maduria with the secret origin of Gambit.
Shiny cover.
Love the shiny Gambit cover.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I forget exactly when it was in the aughts, but it was. By the way, I hate the fucking word aughts. Isn't aughts the worst?
What?
I think it's the worst. Toby doesn't even know what the
Yeah,
word
what the
aughts
fuck
is.
does that mean?
It reminds me of Oxen.
Not really sure why, but that's totally fair. So they did the best. Do you guys remember this? They did the best Marvel comics like ever or whatever, and they had it was a series over several months where they had voting, I think, and they released them. They reprinted them. Do you guys remember this?
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, somehow Uncanny X-Men 350. I guess it is because it was like recent enough. Made it on that list. And while I think that it's one of the 100 best Marvel comics ever published, I certainly, if I were to vote objectively, would not have voted for that to be on the list. Anyway, yeah. Do you have any more questions, or is it Toby's turn?
What is the one comic book that you buy all the time, over and over again?
Anything with the words X-Men. It could say Uncanny before it. It could say Blue after it.
I think Scott means what comic have you bought multiple times? What single issue? Because Scott buys like
I have
the same comics. over and
Oh,
over.
the same one? Well, that would be Cable number 1, motherfucker, because I can't get enough.
Which number one?
how many?
All of them. And probably 50 of each.
I have 5 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 151.
That is obsessive. I probably have like 30
I have
copies
10
of X-Force
copies
number 1.
of Batman and Robin number 1 by Frank Miller and Jim Lee. You're taking your hand clap back right now, huh?
But he got them all at release day. It's not that he bought them over time.
Yeah.
I just got a 9.4, which I was pumped about.
Get on with your bad self.
Yeah.
Toby, Toby, what's your
Higgins,
secret
before
comic
before
origin?
I go into my long history of secret origins of
Toby.
comic books, what? No, I need to talk about the Spider-Man episode that's been playing on this TV. First of all, I don't know what series this is from, and
Ultimate.
It's from Ultimate, yeah.
really,
But,
this
yeah.
is the most bizarre Spider-Man episode I've ever seen. First of all, he's jumping around in Savage Land. Then he turns into an actual spider. Wolverine is somehow in there, so is Kazar. And then he's finding a T-Rex, and then afterwards he defeats the T-Rex, and he tries to cook the T-Rex over a fire.
It's pronounced Quasar.
It's not Quasar, it's Kazar, motherfucker. It's Kazar, you bitch.
I know. I was trying to
It's
fool Toby.
bizarre.
Is it Kazar?
I don't know.
He's
Kazar.
played by Ryan Reynolds. Who's he played by?
Kazar.
Is Kazar.
Toby,
Kazar.
Toby,
Yeah?
your accent. Where are you from?
I am from...
Upper West Side.
He's from the best side.
Ghostbusters 2? No one? Peter McNichol? No one? Johnny, where are you from? No?
What? No.
My favorite lines of all time.
No.
Upper West Side?
Toby, where are you from?
I thought that was Baby
not
Snow.
important. Not
Toby,
important.
where are you from?
Not important.
That is important
No,
to
it's not.
your comic book history.
Is it-
We want to know why you love Tintin.
Oh, that's French.
You love Tintin, correct?
That doesn't fucking matter.
Toby, you love Tintin, yes or no?
Yeah.
Answer the question, Toby.
I am from good old Switzerland.
You love Tintin, yes or no?
Yes, I do.
There you go.
Who would win in a fight? Tintin or Asterix?
Oh, Asterix.
Who would win in a fight? Snowy or Asterix?
Now the bigger question is, Stroopy? Wait, who the fuck is
Is a
Snowy?
Stroopy?
Who the fuck
You just
is
made up
Snowy?
that word, didn't you?
No, I did not.
No, there's no such thing as a Stroopy.
Yeah, Tim and Stroopy.
No, there's no Stroopy.
That's Tintin. Tim and Stroopy.
No, get out of here. Nobody.
I bet you at
No.
dinner right now.
Nobody believes in
Beer
Stroopy.
for a week right now.
Nobody. Well, you're a cheap date,
Beer,
so
beer
I would take that.
for a whole week.
Listen to me. I just know in my heart
Tim
that
and
there's no
Stroopy
such thing as a Stoopy.
is what I grew up with, and Asterix and Obelix.
Asterix and who?
Obelix.
Okay.
And Lucky Luke. What the hell is that? Stroopy ducks? No, Stroopy. Struppi.
This is fake.
This is not fake. This is not fake. Can we go over how I knew DuckTales as Tick, Trick, and Truck instead of
sorry.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
Yeah.
As-
And how I knew Chip and Dale as
Wait,
Chip and Chap?
what were
how
their
I knew Ninja Turtles as Hero Turtles?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wait, what was their name?
Which ones?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You said they had different
Tick,
names?
Trick, and Truck.
Tick, Trick, and Truck?
Yeah. And Chip and Dale were Chip and Chap.
See, this is why your fans.
I have
to
no
know.
fans. Are you kidding me?
No, this
They're
is
all
what-
Bryce's.
Wait a second.
Yes.
I'm your fan.
Yeah. No pants. No pants. No pants.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you grew up in Switzerland.
Yeah.
So you don't get traditional comics.
What do you mean?
He gets
Tim
the
and
one.
Stroopy is as traditional as you're gonna fucking
I'm
get.
like-
What do you mean you get
Like
no
single,
traditional?
you didn't get traditional single issues.
What do you mean no single issues? They're all single issues. There's a little bigger.
Just because they're translated, why would they not be? Why would they not be single issues?
translated? all right. First of all, I grew up on these fucking bank comics that the bank gave out. It was about a bee that was like the bee named
bank?
Mark. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. The bank gave out these free comics to kids, and they were pretty cool. And
Tim and Stroopy.
no, that's
Was the
that's
bank
it.
HQ a guy in a big
Shut
white
up,
van?
man. No, I'm serious, dude.
Okay.
No, I'm actually serious. And then I also had the weekly Mickey Mouse magazine, which is a comic book. And then I also had the Fat Lustiges Taschenbuch, which is like a digest of all like
The fat
ducks-
what?
digests of like lots of Donald Duck stories.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had all of that, and then my dad would. My mom is from Taiwan, and my dad would work in Japan, so he would bring me all the Japanese stuff, and I would also get all the Chinese stuff. So I didn't get introduced to American comics till later, when I got a glow-in-the-dark Spider-Man sticker, which actually kind of scared me because he had a spider on his chest, and I'm like, he can't be a hero, he must be a bad guy.
No way.
But over time, I'm like, no, he's actually kind of cool, and then I found out he's a hero. That's my introduction to Spider-Man, because that's... And then the cartoon came out, the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, both of them, and I was like, oh, I love this. I watched the Superman movie. I fell in love with Superman. I had a backpack from my grandma, which I loved and adored. And then finally, after all of that, my mom finally bought me a digest of Batman stories, which half of it was Batman and the Outsiders, and I also had I think Superman came first. I had a Superman one where he fought a cowboy on a Pegasus.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first Superman story. And
so, did it end? I mean, how'd that happen? What happened on that one?
it meant I wanted more.
Break it down for me.
It was like giving me free candy, and I was like, I want more of this.
No.
Did he win?
Yes, against the cowboy on the white Pegasus.
Oh, he certainly won. Yeah, and the second half. The second half was the Alan Moore For Tomorrow Superman story, which to this day is still probably my most influential comic books ever. And then, fast forward a little bit later, where I made my own money, I bought a Spider-Man comic, which was like more American-like, which is a single issue, which had Punisher in there. It was an Eric Larsen book, and the second half was a Moon Knight story. So that was the start of me collecting comics on my own, or American comics on my own. And the secret...
Was that the Sinister Six story?
No.
Oh, I love that. That had both... Who'd you say, Punisher and Moon Knight? Who'd you say?
No, Moon Knight was a backup story. No, it wasn't that one. It was Punisher on the cover, actually. It was yellowish.
By the way, isn't that McFarlane?
Was it that one?
Nope.
Okay, anyway.
Anyways. Fast...
Wow.
Now I can't say it anymore.
No, you're doing great.
It's because you're here. Fucker.
Okay.
Sure?
Flash Reynolds forward.
It's not that one. It has a lot better art than that.
Anyways, the Marvel Puzzle Quest. You're up next.
No, anyways, I was working at a different store.
For all the questions to come.
I was working at a different store when I was living here, and I heard of this other store that was the Enemy, and I was like, I will not go to the Enemy. And then somehow Charlie got hired in the store I was working at.
Wait. We're the Enemy.
At that time, you were, yeah.
Did you work in a mall store?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Who's the Enemy now?
Yeah, everybody.
Mall store?
Everybody was.
Comic book
Everybody
store?
that was not my store was the Enemy. Anyways, so Charles here got hired, and then I found out that Charles was pretty up to date with his fucking comic books, which intrigued me because I never saw him buy any comic books at this store. So I was like, either he's really fast at reading or he's fucking buying them somewhere else. So one day I was like, Charlie! And he goes, yes. I'm like, motherfucker, spill the secrets. And he goes, what?
Charlie.
No. And he was like, well, I do have a secret. He buys his comic books from this other gentleman named Ryan Higgins. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? He goes, well, Ryan...
It wasn't me at the time.
Well, he did buy it from you, even though Ken Fetty was owning it. He did buy them from you. But Charlie was basically, well, my old store is giving me the same discount that the current store is, so I never saw a point of switching over. So I'm like, who is the store? Take me to this store. So Charlie took me to this store. First thing I realized was there were second prints I didn't even know of that had Jim Lee covers. And I was like, uh-oh. I may have to come here more often. So, and then I when I sadly got fired because, I'm a maniac.
Gross incompetence.
Yeah. I just can't count money. I can't read. I can't talk. So they fired me eventually.
Well, 3 of those are true.
Yeah. And then I somehow managed to talk Ken into hiring me. Which somehow happened. Ryan was very against it because he was secretly in process of buying the store. So he's like, motherfucker, why are you hiring these assholes? And I was like, ta-da, I'm here, pay me, bitch. And then that never happened, but, I never left. Yeah, that's my story.
Charlie, can you break it down into eras for yourself? I want to know, like kind of, we want to go deep on I want to know, like, what was baby Charlie reading, and like how? No. What was baby Charlie, and how big were you?
How big? Yeah.
Okay,
he was never a baby Charlie.
Huge body hair as a baby.
And
when Charlie was a baby, single issues were a normal size for him.
And then, like, as you grew, because now you just get the biggest omnibuses. So I feel like your comic reading style and maybe your comic growth coincides with each other. Can you elaborate?
So
it all started with cable.
I guess
That's where you need to begin.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh,
number 2 fan.
Your origin did not start with cable either.
You didn't even mention it.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead. I did so mention it in your
not in the origin story.
Answering your questions.
So my origin into comic books kind of started somewhat random. Like, probably the first sort of single issues I had regularly were through the mail, through like school fundraiser, as like my sister had one of the like magazine things, and you could like
get they used to do that.
Spider-Man through there. So my grandmother just got me Spider-Man through there.
So can I sidebar just for a second?
Sure.
Okay, can the listeners please post if you got comics by mail? There was always that thing in your comic books that you could order comics by mail.
Yeah.
My friend Ken did that.
Can you please, listeners, come through?
So,
to what end?
Just post it. I want to see. I want to read your stories in their Facebook group. And
well, Charlie got a subscription via mail. So did I. Thanks for asking us, Scott.
I asked Charlie.
Well, I'm telling you, no matter what you ask Charlie.
So that era was just, that's what I got in the mail. And at the time, like, I would go to libraries and I'd check out whatever they basically had that was comic form. I mean, I went through my, like, Garfield phase. And, of course,
Did you Calvin and Hobbes?
Oh, yeah, I did all those. And then, of course, I eventually made it to some of the collections that existed for, like, Dark Phoenix and all sorts of stuff at sort of libraries for a long time. And then my mom purchased me some like used trade paperbacks. That's how I got like Batman Tales of the Demon originally. And I like way back when, it was definitely one of those things where every single comic I got was not a read once or whatnot. It was that's what I took with me whenever I was taking a long car ride. I just reread the same trade paperbacks.
That Superman, Batman are like in pieces at this point.
So let's go back to...
And Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles was probably the first brand new stuff. Like when that show came out, I went out, got all the like large trades they had.
Did you fall for the radioactive black belt hamsters?
No, I did not fall for the radioactive.
So, Charlie, go back. We're going to go back a little bit. I want you to let's unwrap this.
I grew up on like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, all that stuff.
When you are looking through that little Scholastic magazine, and there's books, and you get Runaway Ralph, you can get whatever you want to get. Then the comics come. What catches your eye? What do you remember?
I mean, I will say this about the mail order comics specifically, because at this point I didn't know comic shops existed at all. Like my brain just.
Oh, so what? Oh. So tell me about your first comic book shop experience.
Oh,
did you just?
It blew my mind. I know it's this question, but it blew my mind when I went into the first one.
So
tell us yours first. I'll tell mine later.
I don't think it was the Death of Superman. I know that was one of the early times I went. I was always, especially because, as I said, I would buy, but I would get like some of the used trades, or I'd check out. So I was always sort of encountering these stories that I read in collections and the various animated stuff. And I'd always get excited when they would do something I'd recognize, which is part of the reason why I love Ra's al Ghul as much as I do, because I read that book over and over and over. It was one of those times, like with Batman the Animated Series, where I'm like, holy shit, they're doing the Ra's al Ghul stuff in the animated form. So I know at some point I started transitioning from, there's a Flash TV show, I want to go buy some Flash comic books, and I'd go into like the comic shops, and it started being more tied to what was on TV, just to go get, like, it wasn't I'm getting this book every month. It's go to the store, look through their back issues, grab whichever covers looked interesting, and take them home and read them till they'd fall apart. And I remember in the early days when I went into a comic shop, I saw some of the Spider-Man issues I got through the mail up on the wall, and like, holy crap, that's worth that much. I read it to death. It was falling apart. And that's when I decided...
Been on like 5 car trips with you.
Yeah. And that's when I decided I can't buy comic books to try and treat as an investment, because it would break my heart too much every time I saw this would be worth this amount. But because I read it, it's a dollar bin book. But no, it was... I don't know exactly when I transitioned to like really reading like everything that, like, there was sort of that tipping point at some point where I just kind of decided I'm buying all the X-Men books, I'm buying all these I would jump from like the big events they were doing to the big events, but I wouldn't drop books. I would just, that event would end, but I'd keep buying those books and then jump onto the next big event and then just keep buying those books.
So you were the success. That's what they wanted. That's what all the industry wanted. They wanted Charlies everywhere.
Yes.
Well, they definitely want Charlies everywhere.
And then what basically ended up happening, just like a lot of that stuff, I ended up with these big, massive stacks of comics I hadn't actually read because I was still buying it, even though I've...
So what you guys don't see at home is everybody around the table shaking their head. Yes, I did that as well.
Can I tell the story of the first time I went into a comic book store?
Your brain almost exploded already.
Dude, it was such an experience. So I was sent here because, parents probably didn't want to take care of me over the summer. They were like, we need a summer off, so you're going to go see Grandma in California.
They sent you to America.
Yeah, and study English at the same time.
How dare they?
And English was like, I think, a couple hours in the morning, and then Grandma didn't know what to do with me. So Grandma signed me up for YMCA because I could play basketball there, and I wouldn't complain if I got to play basketball. So I went to the YMCA the entire summer. And at YMCA, there were these other kids that were probably also dropped off by parents that didn't want to fucking see their kids. So they had these cards. They had these special like comic book cards I'd never seen before, and I was like, where the fuck did these come from? And they, well, fucking idiot, just go to the comic book store. I'm like, what the fuck is a comic book store? There's a whole store that just sells comic books? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This does not exist.
How old were you?
I can see 6-year-old Toby saying this.
I was a little older than that.
Like what age?
I think like
24.
12.
24, 25?
No, I was like 11, 12, maybe 13. I don't know. Like young teens. Yeah. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. This does not exist. They're going to look at me weirdly. No, this does. Up to at that point, all my comics were bought at train stations at a kiosk next to the candy, like on Spinnerex.
Spinnerex.
Yeah, the Spinnerex. So
I have a question. When your parents would send you to the States, what state would they send you to?
I said it correctly, mother bitch.
You mother bitch!
Anyways. So anyways, they told me, they will take me to this fabled store that I wouldn't believe them that existed, right? So one afternoon, we decided to all like disappear. I'm sure our like watchers were like worried where the fuck we'd disappear to, but they did like 2 or 3 of the other kids. They took me to this comic book store that was nearby, and we walked, and it was fucking taking forever. I'm like, this is not worth it. Where the fuck they're taking me?
They're gonna jump you for change in the.
Oh, dude, I was like, this is totally fucking baloney, right? And then they go, here's the store. I walk in, I'm like, holy
what
fucking.
Store?
I don't know. It's in St. Gabriel in LA somewhere.
Build up. Worst.
I don't know where the fuck it is.
You don't remember the store?
Dude,
That's the whole punchline.
I went back to fucking Switzerland afterwards, and I didn't come back for a few years. It probably doesn't even exist anymore. But they had fucking Batman the armor on the fucking wall. There was like Jim Ballant, fucking Catwoman on the wall. There was fucking cards everywhere. There's like,
at least lie to me. Do me the decency of lie to me.
I lie to you all the time. That's the point. You never know.
You sound like any girl I've ever met, except for my wife.
Yeah. But it blew my mind. I didn't. The Gambit single issues were there. I like never seen a side character having their own book. The whole thing just blew my mind. It was
Did
awesome.
you have any money to buy anything?
I tried to buy these 9-pocket sleeves for the cards, which I didn't know existed. And then like a true European, I'm like, I think I had $1, which got you like 6 or something. I went up and he goes, it's $1.25. I'm like, what the fuck is 25 cents for? And he goes, tax. I'm like, what the fuck is tax? Because we don't have that. If something in Europe is $5, it's $5. So he goes, no, this is. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll take less.
Did you have to explain to this poor shopkeep about how many cards you could fit in Switzerland due to the metric system? Oh, many more.
Fuck
cards.
off. Well, whatever I mumbled, they probably didn't understand anyways. And whatever they explained, I only half understood. So.
Did you hand them a kroner and they said, what the fuck is this?
Well, I say I don't know what that is.
Charlie, what was your first comic book shop?
Comics and Comics on California Avenue before it burnt down.
My first one, too.
Before it burnt down, there's a patent here, Ryan Higgins.
I remember that place. That was a good place. That was not my place, but I stole magic cards from there once.
Whoa.
I never went there.
You're a local here.
Yeah.
My first comic book store here was by Safeway and Bollinger and not Stevens Creek, the other one further up.
Way out there. John's Comic Connection.
Was it? Where later on there was a really, really, really big comic book store came later. Hobby World came later. Remember where Hobby World was? Before that, there was a small comic book store on the side. That was my first comic book store that I went to when I moved here. And that was the comic book store I went to, and they were like, I want Gambit, the continuation. And it was like, it's a miniseries. Didn't fucking understand what that meant. Went in a week later, I want Gambit. Until Gambit and the Externals came out. The motherfucker was like, here's your fucking Gambit.
Brock, what was your first comic book store?
Brian's books.
Bryce?
Big Guys Comics, El Camino, and Page Mill?
Yeah, Big Guys was my early. Big Guys Comics, Cosmic Comics in Sunnyvale. John's Comic Connection.
Comics.
Yeah, on Murphy. Solid. Sue, shout out to Sue if she's listening.
Listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Comics and Lee's primarily in this area. Occasionally, I would just...
You went all the way down to Lee's in, like, Redwood City?
So what I literally would do when I got very into
Get on
comics...
the bus.
Charlie would just hit up all the stores.
I would literally call every single store that I could possibly get to by bus, figure out which single issues I was missing each store had, and I would bus... Particularly up and down
El Camino.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just off of California on El Camino was Lee's, not Redwood City. And it's San Mateo, not Redwood City.
I ended up hitting both. The one that was on El Camino where
The
like
one up in
Gamescape
Redwood
moved,
City on El
and then
Camino was that's their original spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my mom lived up north, so I would hit like Flying Colors and all that stuff up there too. So
Did they have the San Mateo spot when they had the Redwood City spot?
San Mateo spot was first.
Okay.
Not Redwood City, San Mateo.
I forget.
And then the lovely Comics Conspiracy, 1993 or 4.
Opened in 93.
93 or 4. All right, Ryan.
When the skate shop was next to it.
Sessions.
I actually went there.
I got my first 6 skateboards at Sessions.
Did you really? Nice.
No, I think I got one.
Didn't you move into Sessions at one point?
Sessions is next door.
It was next door. Yeah,
but
it used to be. They flip flopped. I mean, well before it was Comics.
The store
Conspiracy.
flip flop, right?
Yeah.
Ryan,
Yo.
you haven't said anything yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Goff,
wait for
baby.
you guys.
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've told this before, but happy to retell it for new people who
Ryan,
are listening.
Ryan,
What?
just like I asked Charlie, I want you to break it down.
Yeah.
Before you were emo, what were you reading?
I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh, that just
My first, before I got into comics, the first thing that I saw that I remember being a comic book thing was Hanna-Barbera's World of Super Adventure. They had the 1960s Fantastic Four cartoon on there. To the best of my knowledge, that's the first comic book thing that I ever saw. Or
the thing was
did.
terrible.
I mean, it was incredible when you were a kid, right?
The truth.
I mean,
That's the truth. The Spider-Man one where the guy just swings by on like cutouts.
Yeah, well, this isn't those. This is the Hanna-Barbera Fantastic Four cartoon, which was better, which was legit. It actually had real characters from the show, from the comics and everything. So my earliest stuff getting into comics, a lot of it came from the trading cards, like that very first Marvel trading card set. This is for Bryce. When Batman, the motion picture came out, the 89 Batman movie came out, I told my parents that I did not want to go see that movie because I hated DC Comics. I only loved Marvel.
Your mind blown.
My mind has been sufficiently blown.
That very
Holy
quickly
crap.
was no longer the case.
He's
but
just going to troll us about his maturity and growing up and learning to like a more sophisticated product.
Yeah. Clearly inferior.
So that was 89, so the summer of 90, so just shortly after, I was getting some of the trading cards, but that's when I started to dip my toe in the comics. Dark Hawk, number 4, my first comic book of all time. First comic book I bought.
Love Dark Hawk.
So that was summer of 90, if my math is correct.
I like Night Thrasher better.
But I got...
It's just that crotch shot.
It's way better.
No, Dark Hawk was better than Night Thrasher.
No.
So much better.
Skateboard,
it was
man,
90.
and Billy
No.
Sticks. Wins
Was Dark Hawk
every
91?
time.
Dark Hawk?
Was Dark Hawk 91? I thought it was 90, but I bought it. I bought stuff in 90. Maybe Dark Hawk was 91.
Ryan Higgins.
Well, anyway, there was no comic store in the town I grew up in, so it was Spinner Rack. No. Was it 91? Okay, so it was summer 91. So it's the trading cards before then. It was the Batman movie, the trading cards, Dick Tracy, the movie. I love that fucking movie.
Solid.
And then Dark Hawk. And so I bought them on the spinner rack. There was a discount store, like a 7-Eleven-ish type store.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever open the Yellow Pages? Hey, for those kids that are listening, there was this book that you used to get every year that had where businesses operated.
Later.
So
Look up comics.
yeah,
So
I did that all the time.
Again, for Bryce, I would go to the store, and they would have discount comics, and all the comics they had in their discount bins were DC because they couldn't sell them. Right? So
No
that's
surprise there.
so
Tell me
that's
something I didn't know.
So that's when I started buying DC comics because I'd get my Marvel new on the spinner rack and my old DC at the discount bin. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
was
they're
picking up.
beat. Yeah,
I was
'cause
picking
nobody
up
wants that.
Justice League International. I was picking
That's
up
every kid now.
like 1990 Superman. This is just pre-Death of Superman.
Teen Titans #2.
God, Justice League International was so good.
Yeah. So fast forward another year to 1992, and a little comic book store opens up in Andover, Massachusetts. Paper Heroes, probably a quarter of the size of this store.
Paper Heroes. That guy went to business school. What a terrible name for a business.
There's like 4 comic stores called Paper Heroes now, and to the best of my knowledge, they're not him and they're not related to each
solid
other.
name.
So
It's the worst name ever.
I think it's a good name.
Paper Heroes. You want something like, if you're going to build a fucking business, don't you want like a strong name? Très fort. Don't you want like to have some institution that has some backbone? Paper Heroes is like, yeah, who beats the Paper Heroes? The fucking scissor villains.
So I had a Toby-like experience where a kid in school was like, "Did you see there's a comic book store?" And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" They're like, "A comic store open in town." I'm like, "No, we didn't." We drove our bikes down to the store, and it was a Sunday, so it was closed, right, Massachusetts. And I look at the window, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Was there like handprints and you're like,
I was like, my face was on the window, like.
Just imagine the opening to Christmas Story and that the toy display. That was
So-
you at that comic book store.
So yeah, I went there literally every day after school. Day Superman died, I had already reserved my copy. I walk up and there's 100 people standing outside the door, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Death of Superman, right? Oh wow. And I asked the guy, I was like, "Hey, I know I'm like 13 years old, but like." Or 14 years old. No, I was like 13. I was like, "You have 1 million people here. I'm here literally every day. Do you want help?" And the guy was like, "Yes, absolutely." It was just the one guy, right? So I ended up helping him out when the day they killed Superman. I just helping him like just put stuff in bags or do whatever.
first job?
And yeah, I had a paper route. That's how I was rich, Toby. I had a paper route, and that's how I afforded all my comic books. It's Massachusetts, so I made.
Well, I work
money.
for the fucking farmers putting seed into the fucking ground, bitch.
You had to go on unemployment for the winter, right?
Yeah, no, I get the best tips in winter. I made all my money in the winter because they're like this poor schlubs pulling this paper up this goddamn hill.
Let me help him afford some of those fancy Marvel comics.
Let me give him $5, and I'm like, $5? That's like 40 comic books. This is amazing from the discount store. This is awesome. Yeah, and then
And you've been in the comic book store ever since.
yeah.
So
It's a pretty good story.
So Ryan grows up and moves to California.
Yeah. My
That was
dad
90.
came out here in
94?
94.
And at that point,
93. Yeah, came in 93.
he became a fixture in the corner of Comics Conspiracy after school.
Yeah.
Just standing there.
Yep.
Head turning sideways.
The day we moved to California.
Ponytail.
Well, no,
trench coat.
that wasn't until a couple years later. Like I remember, like
When you first came
I was just
to
normal,
California,
nerdy kid.
you were nerdy, but yeah, you had your emo transition for a few years.
My goth phase was very, very serious. I had a moment where I was like, it's either metal or it's like I love my 80s music, but it's either metal or goth. I don't know which way I'm going to go. Like I had a decision to make. I was at a crossroads for a minute there.
So what was
I could be like some metal dude right now.
What was your goth
like,
birth?
me and Bill could be going to shows together.
Goth
like,
birth. What happened?
The Cure.
Yeah, there had
80s
to-
music.
Did you just go?
Radio via 1995. I was like, the radio is shit. I will never listen to the radio again. I'm gonna find new music to listen to.
They played The Cure like nonstop on Live 105.
Right, but that was like right when it fell apart. Like it was right at then. I was like not every Live 105 was like my lifeblood for the first couple of years I
Well,
lived here.
before that, it was The Quake, which
Yeah, it
was
was before my
superior.
time.
Yeah, because you
Very
didn't
vastly
listen to KOME.
I listen to KME
Yeah,
too. Yeah. Yeah, I listen to both.
Yeah. Well, for the listeners, when did you buy your first trench coat?
pre-Columbine.
I know. I know when Charlie bought his trench coat.
Wow.
I've bought many trench coats.
Well, you bought a special trench coat.
Charlie, first episode you saw of Doctor Who.
Spearhead from Space, actually.
What year is that?
I don't know.
Like-
but it was when it was on KTH and they were starting to play the...
I was watching Doctor Who in
Is
the
that channel
80s,
54? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I just... So
Our TV never went that high with decent reception. So
I
never saw
watched
it.
various
get the rabbit
random
ears, right?
stuff, but like I remember when they like officially were like, we're starting from the very beginning of the Third Doctor, and I'm like, well, I've heard of Doctor Who. I need to check this out. So I sat down and I watched.
Laughed or loved at first?
What?
Every Doctor Who fan is one or the other.
Dude, this guy's done a Doctor Who podcast.
So the way I kind of look at it is this. I enjoyed the first season of Pertwee, but it wasn't until the second season that like it really started to like fully. Well, no, end of the first season of Pertwee, when you got to Inferno, I was already completely sold.
Brock,
Yep.
when was the last time you got a haircut?
I don't fucking know.
He's
Is it
trimmed
months
before.
or years?
You trimmed a while ago.
Well, why are you coming to his
years-
defense? Let him answer his own
2
question.
years ago?
Yeah, I feel like it hasn't been that long.
Brock's rocking the pony.
Yeah.
I've rocked the pony for
At least
ever?
2 years.
yeah.
As long as I've known you.
Yeah, as long as I've known
Because
you.
I've known you. Yeah.
No, I cut it once while I was here
Yeah.
because I had
But
it short for
Yeah.
it short when Brody was born. So I've had
yeah,
it
it was
long
cool.
for
But
6 years
then
at least.
it went back. Yeah. That's
Brock.
all our pressing questions.
Yeah. Brock. First comic book shop.
I already told you 3 fucking times Brian's books, you dumbass.
Whoa. On that note.
So
Jesus.
aggressive. So aggressive. Not even have any fun with this.
Thank you, everyone.
Calabasas in Cabrillo in a strip mall.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Comic Conspiracy. Hope you learned a little bit about us. I wasn't expecting this episode to go on another 40 minutes, but then Bryce showed up,
Bryce
so you
showed
know that's what happens.
Scott has been officiating.
You infected him.
the
You've been playing that
transcendence.
Marvel Puzzle Quest bullshit. Like you're trying to be Charlie.
We were going to be
You're
done in
the
like an
number 2
hour
cable
and
fan.
10 minutes, and suddenly I'm like, 2-hour podcast again. Here we go.
Everybody loves it, especially Scott's scintillating questions, inquisitive as they are.
I think the questions made this much more entertaining.
Charlie is
Let
like
Scott do
I
questions,
found it.
not you.
First Spider-Man book I ever bought, but it was a yellow background. It was not.
For those of you that are still awake after 40 minutes, Toby just found his first Spider-Man book.
Spider-Man 331.
Oh, thank God we answered that question.
Go to your comic book store, experience young Toby for the first time, and buy that comic from your local dealer.
If you can find it.
Thank you to all our good friends on Patreon,
Oh,
including Julian Titus, who has the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. And I hear that if you listen to the Nerds Without Pants podcast this next
They're going to
episode,
put pants on?
well, someone's going to be wearing pants. Assuming everything goes right, I'll be on there to talk about my favorite games of 2017. So talk about Nerds Without Pants podcast.
No
Oh, I
pants.
thought you had exciting news.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Ryan Hess says Blowhards. It's a video game podcast at blowhards.libsyn.com. Jody Lawson has canon the Triad Comics anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. Don't forget our good friends Minot Place, Sam Shea, Talon Bray, Craig Anderson, and Joe Duff. Thank you guys all very much for your...
By the way,
The money's on.
Spider-Man was known as Die Spinne.
Die Spine.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's all patreon.com/comicconspiracy is where you can kick us a couple bucks on there if you want.
Hey, are we gonna do a random comic picks at some point?
The Punisher had a different name,
Not
too.
this week. Comic Conspiracy
remember.
Say
Podcast.
that every week.
Well, usually we do it. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com. That is where you can go to find all our previous episodes, as well as Geekbox.net and iTunes. Please go rate and review us if you can. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can buy your digital comic books from us. I should say we are now part, and I didn't talk about this last week, we're part of the Comic Hub Network.
Hell yeah.
So we have an app. It's available at comichub.com. If you download that app and you add us as your favorite store, you can pre-order comics from us. You can request stuff as they're coming out very soon. We'll actually have a full online store to order in-stock product, comic books, graphic novels, toys, statues. It's going to take a little while to get everything set up, but if you do pre-order comics,
It'll be packed fantastic.
It will. Yeah.
Brock packs those.
So if you
I do pack them good.
If you wanted to mail order from us, you can get it through the Comic Hub app. Conspirator Brock, that's Brock's blog and video pullist. You can go there and check out all his videos, conspiratorBrock.com. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, that's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. And Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wife Leanne's Etsy store. I know she's pretty busy with work now, but if you do commission on there.
Do we still have some of those?
Yep. Still have some signed prints of the Comic Conspiracy podcast. Order from comicsconspiracy.biz. We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Larson, Bryce, Toby XI, Insanity and Chaos. The store is ComicsCon Store. Scott, you don't Twitter? No, you don't.
My Twitter is.
You don't use it.
Some dude.
You rarely. You use it sometimes.
Yeah, I use it. It's.
Is it Larson Bryce quotes?
It's
Here you go, bitch.
Famous bags and boards. No, it is.
They still don't follow me.
It's
CS
Tim and
Shea.
Stroopy.
It is, motherfucker.
SHEA. Don't forget to go listen to the Geek Box. We had our annual, our 8th annual, 87th annual Geek Boxy Awards last night, featuring, unfortunately, the final episode with Justin Haywald and Alice Liang, as they are both extremely busy people and will no longer be on the podcast on any
just
sort of
give us one tease to
regular
to go check that out. One tease.
One tease about the Geek Boxies.
Yeah.
We agree on nothing except for best game of the year. So there you go. It's Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and the Infinite Binge podcast. Those are some of the All Talk podcasts.
Does DC do comic book video games? I don't do
all the Rockstar. Yeah, well, yeah, like all the Arkham games and stuff. Yeah,
those make,
troll fail.
Those make a lot of money.
Yeah, those are big games.
I was going to say, other than like the Telltale games, were there any that came out this year though?
Hey, what's Rocksteady's story? Are they doing more games?
Don't know.
We don't know.
Don't know.
Man, those fucking Arkham games were great.
Yeah, they're great. Thank you guys all very much. We'll be back next week with a new episode. See you then.